Am I wrong for saying yes to my boyfriend's public proposal, then turning him down in private? So my 26 female boyfriend, 28 male, and I have been dating for about 3 years. Things have been good, but I have been clear that I'm not ready for marriage just yet. I've told him I need more time to feel comfortable with such a big step. Well, a few weeks ago, we went to a big party hosted by his family for his dad's 60th. I noticed that he was acting a little nervous but didn't think much of it. Then during the event, he got everyone's attention, got down on one knee, and proposed to me in front of all his friends and family. I was completely caught off guard and panicked. Now, I've heard stories about how rejecting someone in public can humiliate them, and I really didn't want to do that to him, especially in front of everyone he cares about, so I said yes in the moment. Everyone cheered and he looked so happy. I felt horrible for misleading him, but I didn't know what else to do. After the party, on the car ride home, I told him privately and explained that while I love him, I'm not ready to get married yet, and that I only said yes to avoid embarrassing him in front of everyone. I thought being honest in private was the best thing to do. He got really upset and said I'd humiliated him even more because now he has to go back and tell everyone that we're not actually engaged. He said I should have just said no at the party if that's how I felt. I feel terrible that I've hurt him and put him in this position, but I also feel like he put me on the spot in front of everyone without considering my feelings. We've yet to tell his family or anyone, and they keep calling and texting to give their congrats, which is upsetting him even more. And I'm seeing videos his friends posted online of him getting on one knee, so it's pretty public now. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Should I have just said no in public, or was I right to spare him in the embarrassment in the moment? I feel like she did the right thing by sparing him the embarrassment in the moment because at the end of the day, she didn't put him in this position. He put himself, because she said, I told him before that I was not ready for marriage and that I was not ready to get married right now. If someone tells you point blank period that I'm not ready to get married and make such a big commitment right now at this time that we're in, why would you think it's a bright idea to go ahead and surprise them? Like, what? How is that romantic, cute, or anything nice? Like, that's really rude. Top comment. I totally get why you didn't want to embarrass him, but it seems like he didn't respect your feelings or boundaries by proposing in public when you've already been clear about not being ready. It's about communication, and honestly, it should have been a private conversation before he took that step. You're not wrong for being honest with him, even if it's tough. Then somebody else commented this, and like OP replied to it, so let's read the comment first. Not the a-hole. If you see him as a future husband, then I'd recommend just having a long engagement instead of ending the engagement. Usually, ending an engagement means the whole relationship is over, and him having to explain that you're not engaged but still together will raise a lot of questions. Not to mention, it will black mark against you in the eyes of his family and friends. If, however, you don't see yourself marrying him at all, then call it quits now. He wants marriage. If you don't want it or don't want it with him, then you have different ideas of the future. If you're not on board with ever marrying him, then it's just cruel to stay in a relationship with him. Then OP replied saying, I guess you're right. I didn't want to admit it because I love him, but there are a few internal reasons why I hesitate to marry him. First, my parents do not really approve of him, and I know I'm a grown woman. I shouldn't care what they think, blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, they've sort of come around to him, but marriage is a big step, and I don't want to hear the whole, I don't want to see you make a decision you're going to regret talk. Also, I'm only admitting this because Reddit is anonymous, but I kind of want him to get his life together just a little bit before we get married. He doesn't have a stable job yet, and I don't want to be that naggy girlfriend, but I should just want us to be financially stable before we tie the knot and possibly bring kids into the world. We could survive with my salary as a vet, but maybe it's selfish of me, but I would like to see him contribute a bit more to the pot as well, so it doesn't feel like my money, but more our money. I don't know, maybe that's my own problem, though. Yeah, clearly she has issues with the dude. Like, I don't know. I feel like she's just staying firm on her stance. If you're not ready for marriage, then you're not ready for marriage. Maybe she's not ready for marriage with him. Maybe she's not ready for marriage in general, but at the end of the day, like, these are valid concerns. You want him to be more stable in his career. You want your parents to come around to him more. I don't know. Plus, like, she didn't really do him dirty. If she said explicitly, like, I don't want to get married right now, why would he then go and propose to her in front of everybody? Like, if anything, she should feel embarrassed, not him. Am I wrong for not getting my ex's affair child a Christmas gift? My ex cheated on me and fathered a child with another woman. That child is now 4, female 4, so it's a 4-year-old girl. He has full custody of her and is going for child support, but the mom isn't paying. I have primary custody of our 3 children, 11 male, 9 female, and 9 male. He gets our kids every other weekend. I have only seen this child 5 times, and I don't have a relationship of any kind with her. I never interacted with her, and while I know she's innocent of what my ex did, I prefer to keep us distant. My kids don't think of her as a sister. I never try to change that. For me, them being close to her is not something I care about. If they are, then they are, and I'd have to deal. But if not, then I don't feel the need to encourage or promote it. My ex knows this, and he knows our kids don't care for his daughter. They don't have the best relationship with him either. He's not absent exactly, but he's been all over the place since the divorce, and he works a lot of long hours and lives almost 2 hours from us, which is partly why he's not a 50-50 dad. My ex lost his job in January of this year. He notified the courts, and his child support payment was reduced for our kids. While he's not earning as much, the change in job and pay has meant he struggled far more, and the kids have noticed the difference in quality of life when they're with him. He also warned them months ago that they would get a small Christmas gift each from him because he cannot afford more. Somebody's broke. This leads on to his daughter. His parents died some years before our kids were born. His sister doesn't talk to him. His brother stopped talking to him after the affair, and the child's mother's family is not involved in her life either. So it's just him for her, and he can't afford to get her much. He mentioned this in our co-parenting app when we went to meet with our twins' teacher. He asked if I would get her something or some things so she can have some presents to open for Christmas. I told him no. He didn't ask me again until yesterday. He had the kids during the weekend and dropped them off at my house afterward. He saw the gifts under the tree and he was angry at me. He asked if I got his daughter anything and I said no. He asked me what our kids got and I wouldn't tell him. I reminded him it was none of his business what I buy. Then he took out this dollar store doll and he told me that was all he could effing afford for his daughter and she's just 4 years old. He told me he knows he effed up, but she didn't, and he told me I could have helped, just a little, or could have helped the kids get close to her, and maybe they would have wanted to give her something. He said instead I was just cruel and selfish B-word to an innocent child, and he said she only knows being abandoned by her mom and her mom's family. She's unwanted by her own siblings, and her siblings' mom can't even be compassionate enough to get her one more thing so she doesn't just get one tiny doll for Christmas. He called her the B-word? What? He also put it on me that if he got our kids nothing because he knew I'd get them something and spent that money on his daughter instead, that it would make them pull away from him more. He left angry and I went back inside and carried it on as normal. I know I'm not a saint for this and I don't pretend to be, but am I wrong for not getting the child something for Christmas when I know my ex can't afford anything else? This is why adultery and fornication is a sin, because when you cannot control your urges and you do God knows what, you're going to be unhappy with the consequences of your own actions. Because why is the OP's fault? OP got cheated on, her marriage got ruined, her relationship got ruined, her stuff, because getting cheated on is the worst thing. Why should she be the one to deal with the burden of an unwanted child? Did he think maybe I shouldn't have an affair and cheat on my wife and the mother of my 3 children and ruin my life for ruin my life for what? Like, what did he ruin his life for? It's his business. The fact that he lives 2 hours away, it's his business. The fact that he lost his job and that he's not getting paid well, it's his business. That he has to take care of these kids and take care of his daughter. Why is that OP's business? I'm confused. Oh, my daughter is not wanted by her mom and her mom's family. Okay, and did you think maybe you shouldn't cheat? Did that ever come across your mind? Like, people generally do not love the consequences of their own actions. Like, if I was OP, like, and the thing is, he's calling her names. Like, if he just asks nicely, like, hey, I'm going through a lot right now. Do you think you could maybe, let me borrow a few or maybe buy my daughter or something? Because, like, personally, me, speaking for myself, I love children. No matter what the circumstances, I probably would help a child. Like, I'm always willing to help a child. But why is he calling her the F word? I mean, why is he cussing at her? Why is he calling her the B word? Why is he calling her cruel and selfish for what? Taking care of her kids, the children that he willingly abandoned and thought he would cheat on. And, like, don't piss me off. Stories like this really irritate me.